I'm like, what's the dream of? What's the hope in? What's the doubt for? Live to no end. This is living. The life I've been given is a gift. If I'm a living, I'ma live it to death. So what's the dream of? What's the hope in? What's the doubt for? And live to no end. This is living. The life I've been given is a gift. If I'm a living, I'ma live it to death. Yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Q&A with Sean, Mike, Marissa, and I. We're going to go back and forth asking questions. But Sean, thank you so much for joining us. Marissa and I, we kind of had this, wild hair of an idea to come together and do a live dial day together, just because we noticed energy was starting to slow on the dial days and we wanted to switch it up, mix it up. So I guess we can start it off with, what's the value in, kind of mixing it up sometimes when you don't think that things are working for you?
Well, first of all, Jamie, as an independent contractor, things can become monotonous, right? If you say they don't, that's not true. You got to mix it up. It's like anything else you do in life. You got to sometimes got to shock your mind and shock your body. So for me, I always wanted to stay excited. That was kind of my deal. Every day I want to be excited. And the reality really is I probably can fake being excited pretty well, to be really blunt with you. But, the oddest thing about business, I was listening to a guy say this the other day, he's very successful. And he said, there are two things that people make a mistake of. Number one, they tend to forget the things they did to be successful and they veer off of those things for no reason. And then secondly, they continue to do the same things over and over again that don't allow them to be successful. And I know the problem with these success principles is they're simple. That's the thing with these people that write books and do podcasts. Dude, none of it's complicated. And the reality really is it just takes the wherewithal to go do it. There's, running an IMO is not complicated. No, it's not. I can teach you how to do it. You might hate it. It's freaking annoying. You got to deal with all kinds of stuff, but it's not sitting around trying to make sure that we can launch the space shuttle and land on a planet we've never been on. It's really not that complicated. So, Jamie, you got to keep it exciting. And I think a big part of that for me, I was always the most excited when I knew other people weren't doing it, if that makes sense. So the reason I started dialing at 6 or 7 in the morning, and I did, was I knew nobody else was. The reason I finished up 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night is because I knew nobody else was. The reason I ran my appointments from 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, which call Mike Sizer, call anybody I worked with, and I ran them to 10, 11 o'clock at night, was because I knew nobody else was. I was always excited when I was doing things and nobody else was. That gave me a leg up. We're doing that integrity call today. The guy was like, the theme song's 9 to 5. And I'm like, dude, 9 to 5, what loser works 9 to 5? You know what I mean? 5 to 9, maybe 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. So Jamie, it's critical because you'll get bored. And then what'll happen is you'll start to scapegoat your lack of excitement. And that's why I'm not doing well. You know what I mean? And I think that at the end of the day, we need people to understand that continue to beat your head against the wall to become annoying, and people won't want to follow you either.
Fantastic. Go ahead, Marissa.
Awesome. Sean, thank you so much. We did have we had some that are anonymous, some with their name on it, but we had a lot of agents that submitted questions. So we're going to kind of go off that list.
No anonymous.
So somebody had asked, what?
No anonymous. What do you mean they put anonymous? They submitted and put anonymous.
Do you want me to read the names?
Hell yes.
Okay. All right, guys, we're being called out right now. Okay. So Sean, I think this one's really important because one of our goals today was to get more new agents to have more appointments than they ever did. So Daniel Abbott asked, if you had to start over as a new agent today, what would you do? Lead strategy? Would you do the field or telesales? How would you do it?
Great question. I'm sorry. Who asked that again?
Daniel Abbott.
Thank you, Daniel. First of all, I want to give people credit for I was doing a meeting tonight in Boca, and I'm like, why does nobody ever sit in the front couple rows? So I want to give people credit for being aggressive. I like that. I always default to aggressive. Daniel, I'd be in the field 100%. Dude, I've sold things over the phone. I've sold things over Zoom. I can sell them through smoke signal. I get it. But get me in front of people and get any of us in front of people, our odds exponentially go up. Now, there are people that are get on this call and go, but I do. And dude, I'm not mad at them. But let me be clear, and this one you guys might not like, but I'm going to say it anyway, and some people that do it might not like it. the majority of the people that don't want to go in the field is because they want to sit at their house and watch TV in between making dials. And they want to be in their pajamas. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just telling you, dude, I'm all about whatever works for you. But if you're a newer agent trying to have success, get in the car and go see people. It's really hard for them to say no to your face. And it's much easier to say no over the phone and over Zoom. That being said, if your circumstances don't allow you to get out in the field, then that's fine. I get it, right? But if you're asking me straight up, get in the field. I'm telling you, I've done it both ways. And if you were going to ask me to enter any kind of, I need to make a quick $100,000, give me some leads and give me a car, and I'll go see people. Now, my lead strategy, again, you got to be aggressive. My first lead purchase was $1,000, and I had I'll be really transparent with you. I had one of those. My credit card max was $1,500. I had some issues when I was in real estate, which didn't allow me. I didn't have good credit, so that 1,000 like literally maxed out my and my credit, my interest rate was like 21% or something obnoxious. But dude, if you're not aggressive in your lead purchase, you're going to fail. So I'd be aggressive in my lead purchase. But man, now you're selling 30, 40, 50 grand a month over the phone, over Zoom. That's great. But please make sure you do me a favor. Don't try to make people do what you're doing. Meaning if Marissa said, I said, hey, you should go on the field. Marissa said, hey, I've been here 3 months and I sell 30 grand over the phone. I'd be like, don't change. Why would I would never try to go, but I do it this way. You need to do it that way. I'm totally good. But as a brand new agent, I think if nothing else, to get you indoctrinated into having those conversations with people. So man, I'd be in front of them. I'd spend my 1,000 on leads. Now you go, what would you do if you were starting today? Honestly, straight up, I'd spend 2,000-3,000 a week on leads. I never had the comp. I never had the setup that we have here. And if it was me, I would be trying to write 15-20 grand a week. And I'm just being honest with you. And I would spend my 2-3 grand to do that. I'm an all-in kind of person. I like that. I'd rather fight real hard than kind of leave a lot on the table. So everybody's financial situation is different, but I'm sure 99% of you are in a better financial situation than I was when I started.
So this is a follow-up question to that. So with the most abundant lead that we have available being the internet lead, and then we have some people who haven't quite embraced the internet lead, obviously what's your message to those people who haven't embraced the internet lead? Number one. Number two, I would argue to say that the internet lead's actually the most they have the highest intent, even more high intent than a direct mail lead, because they're the only person who actually went online and Googled life insurance. Everyone else, they filled out the thing that came to them. So, what do you do with somebody whose phone's blowing up, or what would you do? That their phone is exploding with telemarketers because they decided to fill out a quote tool and our quote tool. And now they've got 25 phone calls. How would you approach that person who, I consider a pissed off internet lead my favorite, best client? Because I know if I get in the door, they will never let anybody else in the door.
Jamie, how much is an internet lead?
Between $9 and $11 brand new, and $3 to $4 aged.
Got it. And what's a direct mail lead cost?
$75 to $100 and going up fast.
So when in 2008 I got my license, I had internet leads. My internet leads, Jamie, at the time, because it wasn't the way it is now, were $45 a piece. They were 90 days old for $45 leads. So your best lead is your $8, $9 lead, or your $2, $3 lead, because you get more, right? Also, the problem with most people in business, I met a guy when I was 18. I was playing on a travel base. He just passed away recently. His name is John Ellis. He was a Major League Baseball player for years. He was a multi-millionaire well before people were making a lot of money. And he said to me, Sean, one of the things that's going to happen in business for you is everybody around you is going to stop to think. They're going to outthink. They're literally going to cripple themselves with thoughts. And you have to, when you find yourself thinking, stop. So I'll be honest with you. I'm an every lead is a good kind of guy. And to be honest with you, it's because I'm a grown man. I'm sorry, but you want me to be honest with you, Jamie, about what we used to say? I ain't no damn punk. They filled it out. It's $9. I'm sorry, I don't do well with That's not the kind of leads. I mean, you got to be kidding me. And dude, I just won't talk to you. I don't even have the energy for it, you know? And I love the way you said it. It's very politically correct, Jamie. They haven't embraced the internet lead yet. And the reality really is it's the path of least resistance. By the way, how in the world is getting a lead for 60 or 70 bucks as opposed to 7 or 9, the path of least resistance? How does that even remotely make any sense? And if you're already uncomfortable, like if you're already uncomfortable, how much more uncomfortable are you going to be when you've called 3 leads and that's $210 as opposed to you called 3 leads and it's 30? Because your mind will start messing with you. Now, the reality really is you have to understand that at the end of the day, and I know we say this all the time, but at the end of the day, you're only going to go as far or as fast as your mind allows you to. And for me, Jamie, anybody that filled something out, because here's what I don't know. I don't know who dies tomorrow. My first death claim, we had what we called reworked leads. Okay. Jamie, do you know how old reworked leads were?
I'm assuming older than anything we have in the CRM.
10 years. They were 50-cent, 10-year-old leads. Okay. My first death claim was one of those. 10 years old. And the person filled it out. She was now sick. She had filled it out back in the day. She was dying of cancer. And I wrote her husband, and he died in a motorcycle accident 2 days after that. Couldn't help her because her situation was so far gone. We didn't have any guarantee issue. And even if we did, she had like 90 days to live. So for me, Jamie, I can't, if these are all leads, I don't know who's going to die. And you can best believe that there's no way I got in this business to look and figure out what lead looks the best, what time can I call. You find yourself thinking, stop. And kind of I can't repeat what my coach said, because this is really very politically incorrect, but I'll politically correct it. And Marissa kind of said it. Also, worry about your own family. Don't run around spending every day talking about how awesome everybody else is. Like Jamie Chirio is very successful in the field and selling because he works a lot of hours. Okay. Marissa is very successful at doing everything she does to build a business, recruit, social media, because she works a lot of freaking hours. Magical, right? They outwork people. Thus, other people around them watch and go, I'd like to be part of that. Because when you come in and you need to make money and you find people that are mediocre work ethic at best, they're not worth following. So, Jamie, every lead, there's no such thing as a bad lead. I'm a Glenn Ross guy, man. We used to play that before every sales meeting. That wouldn't play well now. You know, leads suck, you suck. And that's what we used to do. We did that. I'm sorry, first 5 years, first 10 years of the company, ask Mark Mead. He'd be like, lead suck. I'm like, you suck. Give me anything I can call it. But can you imagine if that's your mindset? And to your point, Jamie, all you got to do is get in there. Like, all you have to do is get in there, right? Once you get in there, it's a wrap. And as long as you're aggressive enough to do that, and I'm not going to argue the intent of any lead, because every lead had intent. Every lead was promised nothing. When you say low cost, it means you got to pay for it. And they had intent. But if you had to deal with the worst part of my job, Jamie, by far?
What is that?
Is when somebody calls corporate because they have an agent's information or they filled out a lead and we never got them life insurance. And a family member found some kind of identifying information from FFL, agent, card, email, phone number, missed call, text, and we have to tell them we have no record of a policy. We didn't do our job. Dude, that's the worst thing that I deal with. And I deal with all kinds of stuff that's annoying, but that's the worst thing I deal with. So every lead's good. But hey, if you want to convince yourself, the man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. You can talk yourself into anything or out of it. So I tend to be positive about stuff, dude. Every time people say we can't do it, I say we can. When I said we would be $1 billion company in 10 years ago, everybody behind my back, never to my face, they all laughed at me behind my back. Everybody. Ain't so funny now, is it, mother father? Because we are going to be $1 billion company in 10 years. So all leads are good, man, but you got to get that. And by the way, peer pressure is the most powerful pressure in the world. If you're with people in a dial session and they're telling you what they can't do, you know what's a good question to ask them, Jamie?
What is that?
Why haven't you quit yet? Monday's a good day to quit. You have the entire week off. Wednesday, it's Wednesday, hump day. Don't even know what it means. Good day to quit halfway during the week. Meaning either you quit complaining or you quit what you're doing. Quit either one. I'd prefer you quit the complaining, but you've got to pick one. That makes sense? Because that negativity will seep in and it will just, it'll spread unless you knock it out.
Absolutely. Marissa, what do we got next?
Wow. All right. So Sean, kind of switching gears a little bit. Markel wants to know, if you were just starting to build a team today, what qualities are you looking for in people?
Man, that's a good question, Markel. The first thing I look at, we just talked about it a few minutes, is I do like people that are positive. I mean, I do like, I'm sorry, I keep using the word adults. I like adults. You know, one of our year slogans before y'all joined us was Year of the Adult. And like, dude, I like adults. I like people that are positive. I like people that are accountable. I like people when I go, hey, you know, why are you in the situation you're in today? They go, it's my fault. You know, when real estate did what it did in 2008, I didn't blame real estate. I didn't blame the political climate. I didn't blame the mortgage derivatives. I didn't blame the people that committed fraud. There were people making money. I was not one of them, not at that level. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, for me, I'm looking for people that are positive, that are accountable, that work hard. And the reality really is, Markel, I want to challenge people as early as I can. And then I'm going to assess those things like real fast. Like if you have your license and I go, all right, you buy leads. If you ain't buying the leads right away and not down the next day, dude, I just move on to the next person. Now, the problem though, Markel, is because most people, I don't know your numbers specifically, most people don't recruit enough. You don't have enough options. So it's hard for you to move on because you're like, man, Tom's not really doing much, but I'm going to keep working. I ain't got anybody. I'd prefer to never talk to Tom again and recruit 12 more people. I move on real fast. I'm just like, I'm good. You're not doing it. I'm not mad at you. Today's not your time. Tomorrow might be your time, right? So at the end of the day, we're trying to get people to understand that. So accountable, certainly people that have a positive mindset, good work ethic. And the last thing is people that ask good questions. There are dumb questions. I know your teachers told you they weren't, they lied and they were probably dumb. Your mom told you they weren't dumb questions because she's your mommy and she didn't want to hurt your feelings. There are stupid questions. Stupid questions are like, I really don't have a question. I'm trying to act like I'm engaging in a conversation with you. I like good questions, information-seeking questions. People ask you questions for one or two reasons. One, they want the information, or two, they're trying to mess with you, whether they're trying to intimidate you, be stupid, or just waste your time. I like good questions. People that are really trying to seek knowledge, that gets me excited because they want to get there. And if I got those other three things, I got the perfect storm. And you know what, man? I do like somebody that's kind of banged up a little bit. I'll be honest with you. I like somebody I know has kind of been through some crap. Like life ain't been so perfect. They've been knocked around and they're still standing because you know what, you know, they've already been through something. What makes me nervous is people that ain't never been through anything like that. That's scary to me. So I'm like, I don't know what to do with that person. Like, what if they fall on their face? I like, you know, I had a guy tonight and he's like, I've been through some stuff. And I was like, yeah, I can tell that. And he's like, why? I'm like, because you have a spider web tattooed here and these teardrops, which like it's a movie in your eyes, bro. Like, I got you. I'm not mad at you, but let's go to work. I ain't judging nobody for nothing, but I don't need your life story today. You've been through some stuff. So what? We all have. Let's move forward. Because when you get somebody's back that other people didn't, and people tend to walk away from as opposed to support them, dude, the teamwork, the relationship you'll build with people, I mean, y'all can take over the world. And I think that's exciting to me to see people that are kind of, they may not believe in themselves. They want to, But if you give me those things, Markel, but you'll build a big team if you genuinely care. Like if you genuinely care about people winning. And I think one of the things I'll challenge y'all with tonight, and you have to do this, is you need to ask yourself if you do. And I mean that. Like, you need to ask yourself, do I, like for me, I met this guy Brian tonight at a BOM. I just met him, but I really want the dude to win. Like, it's really important to me that he wins. I know a little bit about him. I'll follow up about how he's doing, but I really want him to win. That's, to me, more important than like number here, doing this thing here, any of those things. That makes sense. So it's all those things and above.
Awesome. I'm very excited to see how you answer this question. So how do you handle it if you publicly told people you were going to hit a large goal, and then as the month went on, you saw yourself slipping further behind, shame starts to set in, you start to get in your own head, missing the appointments you should have booked and not helping families you should have helped because of it?
Well, first of all, you should not listen. You can't change anything you did yesterday, right? Like, literally, there's nothing you can do about it, Jamie, right? Like nothing. So why would you have shame? I think that's the first part I'd say. Like, why would there be shame about like any of that, right? You can only move forward. But here's the great thing about this business. When I worked at the old company, right? Paul McLean, I didn't know Paul McLean. But I wanted to be #1 producer every year, Jamie, because like I wanted to be. And Paul sold a lot of life insurance, and it was like my first year I was part-time. I think it was like my first full-time year. And I saw his numbers and saw where he was at. And Paul's good. And he never let up, And I said to myself one day, it was like December 10th. And I didn't get any extra money for being #1. I got no special anything. But what I got was I wanted to be #1, right? I just did. And he issued like $31,000 like the third week of December. And it was like a punch in the gut. You know what I mean? Like, I was really close. And I remember I said to myself, all I can do the last week is what I can do, right? Like, I can't undo what I should have done 8 days ago, 20 days ago. And I was like that with everything I did all year long. I ended up beating Paul, by the way, because I'm better than Paul in production. Anyway, I did beat him. But anyway, I don't know what I did last week, but it was a lot. I didn't want to lose. But at the end of the day, Jamie, you can only do but so much, and you can't change anything that's already happened. So shame comes from you dwelling on the past. I get it. It maybe was yesterday. Okay, you didn't do what you're supposed to yesterday. You didn't make your sales. Okay, I got it. But today's a new day. So every day you wake up in the morning, all that stuff you've been through, there's nothing you can do about that. There's not a thing. Why would you ever focus on something you can't do anything about? That was my thing when I was a social worker. I was like, okay, dude, I hear all the things you're going through. I get it. And I'm sorry you went through all those. But dude, like, what do you want to do about it? Like, and I would share things to let them know that I've been through stuff as well. But like, dude, you can't do anything about it. So Jamie, that's an excuse, right? I'm halfway through the month and I'm not where I want to be. Who cares? But here's what I know. Dude, you can sell 10 grand in a day. You run appointments, Jamie, and you have a terrible day and the last one's 2 hours from your house, and you go out to that thing and you're like, dude, this thing sucks, and it's $471 a month. And it made your whole day in one appointment. So you can never let up. Now, Jamie's shaking his head because he's been through that, right? If you've not been through it, you have to go out there and do it. See, and I think that's the whole deal. Working this hard and putting this many hours in, man, is a complete game changer.
Love it.
That's huge. Okay, Sean. So for a new agent with aspirations of building a business, what is the value of the VP bonus and the integrity deal? And can you explain what those mean?
All right, the integrity deal and the VP bonus. Okay. First of all, you want to get to 150,000 in paid business monthly with bonusable premium. So we can give you a breakdown on what that works. Our core carriers, you're trying to supplement your business with the bonus, right? We're kind of saying, okay, you hit a certain number, you can build that thing up. Last month, our bonuses we paid out were 4,300,000 and some odd thousand for the month. Our biggest bonus was 700,000, 680. And the smallest bonus you can get is it $2,500? The smallest bonus you can get, I think $2,500. So no matter what, no matter what you're there, you get $2,500. And so you're trying to make sure you build your business up so you have that ancillary income coming in as well. The integrity opportunity, you take your sales, you take your overrides, you take your bonus, you take all that income, and you take that and you have a net, and then that's your EBITDA, earnings before income tax, depreciation, amortization. It's your net income. And integrity looks at that block, right, of business, says, okay, here's what your company's worth. Now, the nice thing about integrity is you realize how big they are, biggest life health distributor, right? We get all how massive they are, but it's allowed people to change their lives so dramatically. Like, it's allowed them to take this thing to just a level that they could have never taken it to on their own. Like, that would never have happened. You know, now all of a sudden, any of the integrity partners, Andrew Taylor and Zach and Mark Mead, they now own, they have equity, they have ownership in all these other markets they didn't previously, right? What I tell people is to put your head down and get to that $400,000 or $500,000 a year in net income. So I tell people that's kind of my thing. I think that you have to decide when you start. People say, do you need to sell to build your business? If you have a bunch of money, you don't. Or if you're exceptionally crazy good at recruiting, but only you know that deal. I think a lot of people choose not to sell because they just choose not to sell, right? If you're under $1 million a month, I think you should be in the field selling life insurance, only because there isn't, like, you're trying to do the best you can, but how much is there really to do, right, on a regular basis? So I think that, but for new people, if you'll just issue 30 grand every month and you'll recruit as many people as you can 7 days a week, all those other things will take care of themselves. You got to walk before you can run kind of deal. And if you don't become profitable for you, it doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't matter. There's no integrity to be found if you're not going to go ahead and do enough. Because a lot of people, they like the idea of being an entrepreneur because it sounds cute. They just don't like the grind that goes with it. And can you do this fast? Yeah, you see people getting their integrity deals after being with us for 2 or 3 years. I mean, that's pretty amazing. You know, people that get here, they've been here a year and change, they're entering the process. It doesn't mean it's going to take you forever, but those people did quite a bit in their first couple of years, man. It's pretty freaking impressive, the things they put together. So for new people, let's just get you focused on being profitable. Let's make sure you're making your money. The biggest override you're ever going to have is on yourself. So when I started the company, the insurance carriers were like, why do you sell still? And I was like, I need the money, legal fees, blah, blah. But the reality really is, I said, my biggest override, my biggest spread is on me. Why would I not utilize my contract that I have on me and make sales and make money to build my business?
That's really good, Sean. There's this thing that's kind of going around the internet, and I think that you've probably noticed it, that we're glorifying this idea of chasing after passive income, and there's nothing wrong with chasing passive income, but I chased it for so many years that I say I chased passive income for so long that I became passive. And when I came to FFL, what actually drew me in was not the selling, it was the building an agency. Like so many people who come here and they say, oh, I can just earn an override off of a bunch of people. If I bring in 100, 200 people, look what's going to happen. This is amazing. So for me, it was really hard to actually get back into, I guess, the trench work, and be in this humbling work of being out helping families. What would you say to somebody who's in that mentality of, I want to come in, I want to build a business, I don't want to sell at all, because I'm now in just this passive mode of everyone else do the work, I'm the puppet master, I pull the strings?
Jamie, what's weird to me is, Ed Bastian's now the CEO of Delta. I got to meet him probably, 10 years ago. And somebody asked him why he was having so much success. He'd really done a really good job with Delta. They went through a lot post 9/11, and they made a miraculous comeback. And he said, I wasn't above anything. And I mean, like literally, I wasn't above anything at all. I was, no matter what I needed to do, I was willing to do it. And I think a lot of the people, Jamie, that come here or become independent contractors, again, if you don't need the money and like you make all kinds of money and you're like a really good recruiter and you want to do it, dude, have at it. But for most of us normal human beings, like that's not the case. I don't like lazy people. I actually don't think, Jamie, when most people say that, I think that sounds cute. I just think they're lazy. I just do. I mean, I'm being honest with you. And if they're on here and they want to take me to task on it one day, I'll debate it with you. I just think you're lazy. I think that the concept of sitting around your living room and trying to get people to do stuff for you, they're not going to follow you. And also building a business, people don't need everybody to be #1 producer to sell X amount of dollars a month. They need you to be working with them. The minute, when you look at all the other IMOs we compete with, there's a reason none of them can get over like 30, 40 million a year. And there's a lot of reasons to it, but the #1 reason I believe this, Jamie, in my heart, like the #1 reason that they can't is because the men and women they're making an override off of, they watch them not work because they're so passive. Like, I got an LLC, I'm an entrepreneur, look how cool I am. And those people quit all the time, not for the other reasons, comp, leads, because the guy or girl overriding them doesn't do anything. And, you know, history is an important thing. I'm not big on school, to be honest with you. Like, I was in a meeting tonight, and the guy was like, when I was in school, I always sat in the middle. I'm like, who cared? C, B, A, like, nobody cares, dude. But this is about you making money for you, right? And I think that the crazy thing, Jamie, is that at the end of the day, all we're looking for in an opportunity is people that are in the fight with us. And history is an important subject in school because history repeats itself. And when people feel like they're being taken advantage of, they will eventually rebel and revolt. And if you got 27 people on your team, and you know, I was talking about a guy today, I worked with him, Jamie, 14 years ago. My very first convention, he stood up on stage and he made fun of people selling life insurance. Straight up. He's like, I looked at the dude next to me and I was like, dude, we sell life insurance. Like, he's making fun of all of us. And I could beat the crap out of him in like 4 seconds with my eyes closed. Like, why is he talking junk? And the guy was like, I don't know. 14 years later, Jamie, that dude's in the field. He's been in the industry 21 years. He ran his mouth. Everybody quit his agency. He worked at one of these agencies that had middle managers, positional leaders. I don't like positional leadership. You know, I'm the so-and-so, I'm in charge. I'm going to tell you something, man. You want to earn the respect of people you work with, you have to work hard. Work your ass off, they'll follow you. I make all kinds of mistakes, but the one thing you'll never say about me, Jamie, ever, is that I don't work hard. You can say all kinds of things about me, and they might even be true, but I work hard. And I think you get some grace, and I want grace. You know, I'm going to make mistakes. We're going to do things we don't need to be doing. We're going to make decisions and go, that wasn't the greatest decision. But dude, at the end of the day, I'm all about you making the passive income. You got to earn it. And I'm not saying you have to go do it forever. You know, John Wetmore started, he's like, hey man, I'm really into building this business, man. I was like, cool. He's like, I don't have a ton of money. I have some. And I said, all right. And he said, what do I need to do? I said, be Hall of Fame producer for 1 year. He's like, all right, I said, recruit like crazy. He did. And that was it. He didn't, I don't know if he sold anything since. He's never been derogatory about it, but he knew that he had to get in the grind and get out in the field with people and be out there in the battle with them.
I love it. Thanks, Sean. Okay. So Diego, I'm mixing two questions a little bit. So Diego and Elitza, Diego said, what are your most valuable principles that help you keep grounded? And how would you stay genuinely connected to your growing team?
Humility. Anybody can do what we do. It ain't complicated. Most of the people that, you know, I'm a big, you know, Jamie Dimon said it the other day to, you know, CEO JP Morgan, but I'm a big fan of that ABCs, right? Arrogance. I'm going to avoid arrogance. Like, I'm going to work really hard and stay grounded. I'm going to avoid being overly bureaucratic. You know, we have some people got like 3 staff, and what do they do? I can't tell what anybody does, you know, and I'm not going to be complacent, you know, and I think for me, you know, or, you know, I've tried to live by this being selfless, fearless, and humble kind of deal in business since I started my own business when I was 17 years old. those principles work, and people will stay connected to you when they know that you work hard and you're humble. You'll repel them with your arrogance. If you are arrogant, you'll repel them. I mean, that you'll have no chance. And I think for us, you have to check in too. By the way, ask people what they want. Like, we started the company, I was like, hey man, I really don't know what to do. Y'all really don't know what to do. What do y'all want from me? And then I would check in like every 3 months, 6 months, like, dude, what can I be doing better? Like, what do y'all need from me? And, you know, it's evolved a lot. We're really big. We're doing what we're doing. I do a lot more with carriers and attorneys and all kinds of stuff. But I'm still like, what can I do for you? How can I get better? That was a big part of our sales meeting. Our sales meetings might have been hard and accountable and tough, but I also wanted to know what I could do better. And to say connect to them, Diego, you have to humble yourself, man. And I'll tell you what, I know I keep saying it, but it's true. Dude, if you don't work hard, you won't be connected to them. Because what happens is small-minded people talk about people, right? You know, but it's easy to talk about people that aren't working. I had an old boss that would say, don't be absent and expendable at the same time. And, you know, you don't work hard and you kind of ain't there. And dude, all of a sudden it's hard for you to be connected to the people you work with. You know, so I stay grounded in those principles, and this is not a complicated business. And the last thing I'll say is, when things go well in your team, you need to give everybody else credit. You should never take credit for any of it, ever. And when they don't go well, this has been the hardest I've been on myself in business the last 7 months, like probably my whole life, to be honest with you. It's been hard. We didn't grow the way, now again, we're growing compared to everybody else. Yeah, whatever, cool. But there's a lot of things we could have done differently, and we got complacent. I do think there's some arrogance that seeped in with some people, and I do think we became overly bureaucratic. When things aren't going well, it's your fault if you're in any position of people are looking at you to lead. And when it goes well, give them credit. I routinely meet with people all the time. Tell us the secret. I'm like, have good people, dude. I'm like Mike Krzyzewski coaching the Olympic, you know, basketball team. Dude, all you got is roll the basketball out there. Like, I could have won a gold medal with those dudes. Like, anybody could have. So, you know, I just try to keep it moving in that regard.
Sean, are you able to talk about how you see new agents leveraging our new carrier partnership?
Ethos?
Yes.
Yeah, I can talk about anything you want, Jamie.
Yeah. How do you see that being powerful for our new agents or any agents?
Yeah, we you know, we've been approached by a lot of companies that I would say are comparable to Ethos. The big deal for us though is making sure we aligned with them. Number one, they weren't going to compete with us, meaning like, you know, who's that? Melendez. You got to watch the calls, bro. We've been talking about Ethos for a while. You must have just jumped on. But it's, you know, when we were introduced to them, and they showed us the platform, they showed us the carriers that were on their platform. They showed us what we could put in place. And Jamie, a big part of it was people were asking me, hey, like, term return to premium is my deal. Like, I get it. Like, that's what everybody should buy, I think, a term return to premium. But Sean, there's definitely, you know, some situations where they want more face amount and want to get some other coverage, and also have some people that I want to follow up with that I might not necessarily jump in the car and go out and see, or Zoom, or is there anything we can do that would just be like almost like a email drip link, here's your spot, like just let them do it? Or can we create some funnels for the leads I never got a hold of and try to let them buy something that I still get paid on, even though I didn't necessarily go out and see them? And I'm like, yeah. So we've been searching for it, Jamie, for a while. How do I think we can leverage it? I think that everybody's going to start to copy what we're doing. This tends to be what they do. The other IMOs will try it, and that's cool. Like, go do it. I'm not worried about it. You know, good luck. But when you look at what it's going to allow you to do from a follow-up with your clients, our biggest issue has really been how poor we are at really monetizing leads for the agents, right? The agent gets 80 leads, closes 8 of them, and moves on to 80 more leads. It's like, dude, but you have all these leads here. So now we're creating these funnels and the ability for you to, we actually had a couple of them today where the clients bought the insurance and the agent was paid. He didn't do anything. Like he's literally like, dude, you just took my leads. We have been piloting it for a little bit, Jamie, just to let you know, with some people, I 2 or 3, like really trying and to make sure that it actually works, the whole deal. And they're like, dude, I just got deposited in my bank account with these 2 carriers. I didn't do anything. We're like, yeah, but you bought the lead. And then the system kicked them an email offering the life insurance, and they bought it through the internet, and you got paid. So, you know, Jamie, we want to be the best place for everything, like literally everything. And we want to make sure we have med stuff, so now we shouldn't lose any clients. Everybody that we meet with or talk to, we should literally be able to service them, right? And Jamie, current client leads. See, me, my first year, I took all my applications. Like I called everybody, dude. I was like literally probably 5, 7 appointments every week were for my previous year, 2, 3, 4 years of business. We don't do that now. People just move forward. So now I think we have this tool where we're actually able to say, here's email all my clients, you know, staff, system, funnel, and you're going to have extra money coming in, and we're going to have extra coverage being put in place. And people, they say, Limerick says people buy from you 7 times in their life. 7 times they'll buy, like the same family will buy from you 7 times. Except what we do is we get them to buy from us once, and we're like, see ya, have a nice life. It's like, dude, but then Jamie, I come in behind you a year later, and I get them 2 or 3, and then I call them every year, and they're my clients for life. I was building clients for life. Like that's what I was trying. I wasn't trying to build clients for today. I was trying to build clients for life. So we're blasting it everywhere. We're launching it. I mean, you become a policy holder in 10 minutes. It's pretty unbelievably amazing. To go up to a couple $1 million on simplified issue on term. You know, so, and there's going to be some things we're going to probably do in the future, Jamie, as far as the product offerings, because, you know, it was funny. I was talking to them yesterday. I had flown out to Palo Alto to meet with them, and they're all really sharp guys. And I talked to them yesterday, and they're like, man, are you having what did the guy say to me? He's super nice. Are you having a tough day? I was like, hey, bro, no, this is me every day. Like, you got me connecting with you and building a relationship, and I love y'all, but this is me every day. Like, we are going to make sure we're positioned, FFL's positions, agents are taken care of. Like, we're going to bring more volume, because that's the thing for us, Jamie. The number one question I have to ask carriers, Jamie, how about I'll ask you this. What do you think the question is I have to ask every carrier or every platform? There's really a platform that has these 5 core carriers on there. But what do you think is a question that I have to ask everybody, every carrier?
What's our comp?
I definitely do that. But after I settle all that and feel good about it, I go, how much business can you take?
There you go.
We will overwhelm you if you're not ready. We don't drop 10, 20, 40 apps a week. We're a machine. And then every carrier isn't necessarily, the ones we have are, but there are carriers out there. People are like, why don't you get this? There's a carrier, I can't say the name, that people have asked me. They have a product, it's not even worth anything. It's a niche terror. Dude, we never said. And I called them and they said, yeah, but we couldn't take any more than 20 applications a month. I was like per agent or the whole company? And they're like, well, we only do like 150. So like, I'm trying to explain this guy, like, dude, you don't understand. Like, this isn't, we've had carriers we started with that shut down after like 6 months. Are like, dude, it's too much business. So this platform can take as much as we want. And that was a big reason why we chose them. And I think from a monetary standpoint, from a client relationship standpoint, from building clients for life standpoint, and Jamie, once you start getting paid on leads from a funnel where you didn't do anything but buy the lead, you did buy the lead, but all of a sudden you're like, dude, I just got paid by this insurance carrier. Yeah, they bought a policy through Ethos, and you're the agent. So we'll take that lead ID, attach it to you, and when it gets sent in there, they buy a policy, it goes to you, Jamie, you get paid. And it goes right through the hierarchy like you went out and sold the policy.
That's insane.
Huge.
Insane. So I guess one last question just to close this out. When we started this call, we talked about how we had this big contest today, and Marissa, she called me before this. She's like, Jamie, why does it take a contest to make people want to work hard and set records? Why does it take $1,000 in lead incentive or a $350 gear or gift card to make people work hard? Why don't they just understand that if they learn the skill set to protect 10, 20 families a week, $1,000 in leads is nothing, and they'd never have to ask for a handout ever again? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think if they earn it, I don't think if they win a contest, that's not a handout, right? They earned it, right? But I think the thought process behind it, I think a lot of people on here, and I don't know everybody, but I think a lot of people on here are just trying to find a way to believe in themselves. I think that contest pushes them to be validated. The reality is, me kicking Paul's ass as number one producer, I'll be really honest with you, and whether this is right or wrong, dude, I wanted the pat on the back. I did. I'm sorry. I didn't want to be told how great I was, but I wanted an attaboy from a couple of people I worked with. The guy that was my mentor, I wanted him to be proud, dude. I mean, maybe I did. I was hoping I believed enough myself to build something. I wasn't sure if I was. So I think a lot of people on here, those things can trigger you and get you focused, right? But I think at the end of the day, you need to use that as momentum, right? Like, I did this, right? And the reality is that I know I can now do it. So I think it does wake some people up, right? And that's cool. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think what you have to do is, and I'll leave you with this, I think the fear of loss, right? Fear of not having the recognition, fear of not making the money. What if I get up at 6 a.m. and work out? Well, okay, cool. What if I don't? What if I don't after so many days? Or what if I don't do this? Or what if I think we need to be more focused on the fear of loss, because that's why people move, right? They don't move usually or gain something. And I think that contest works the same way psychologically. I have a fear of not participating. I have a fear of not getting anything. I have a fear of not being one of the winners. I have a fear of not being a recipient of any of that kind of stuff. So I think, Jamie, if everybody tonight would write down the things they're afraid of or they don't want to lose, and then they would write down, what they plan on doing work-wise. And the reality really is, can you live with that? Is that fear of loss? Because fear is the motivator, dude. Fear gets you run. You want to see how fast you can run? You're out. Trey Honeycutt, I had this didn't work out well, by the way, but I have this idea, Jamie. I believe in my core that dogs only bite people that are afraid of them. That's how I've lived my whole life. I worked at UPS, delivered packages around thousands of dogs, social worker, where a lot of them have dogs. And I just believe in my heart of hearts that if you ain't scared, that motherfucking dog ain't gonna bite you, okay? And that's what I live by. And Trey Honeycutt, one day he was out in the field and he called Andrew, and he's like, dude, there's a dog there. And he said, yeah, but Sean says if you're not afraid of it, it won't bite you. He won't bite you. And that thing bit a chunk out of his thigh. And he was trying to convince me that he wasn't afraid. I said, dude, dog knew you're afraid. You're lying to me. And he said, you never know how fast you can run until the dog bites you and starts chasing you. That's fear of loss, right? You never know how good you can be. Like I was reading this today, what the longest anybody's ever stayed awake? 11 straight days. This dude, Guinness Book of World Records, stayed awake for 11 straight days. Like we go like 22 hours. And it's like, oh my God, I'm so tired. But dude, at the end of the day, it's that fear of loss, and the mind and the body are very powerful things. And I like to think that I've pushed both of them as far as I can in certain circumstances. And then sometimes I'm like, I'm not. So you all can be great at this. This isn't hard to be great at. Everybody has a skill set. The problem is that most people want to be at peace. They want to be at war with themselves and at peace with society. I don't. I'd rather be at peace with me and at war with society. Like, I don't give a shit what y'all think. I love you, though. You're my friends, but I really don't care. I'm going to do the best I can to support people I'm obligated to support, be there for people that love me and I love them. And if the world hates it, then the world hates it. Like, okay, cool. But I'd rather be at peace with me and at war with everybody else out there than be at war with me and at peace. That's what a lot of us do. We walk out the door and try to figure out what everybody else wants us to do on a daily basis. And it's messing up us up here. So we're trying to appease everybody else. So I hope that makes sense, Jamie and Marissa.
Yeah, Sean, thank you so much for getting on. Jamie did tell me one thing though. I don't know if this is true or not, but I just want to double check with you before we get off. So we had 5 winning categories today that Jamie and I put together. And Jamie told me that you were possibly going to add one more category for new agents so that we would have 2 winners. Is that true?
It didn't take long for you all to ask me for leads. I knew this was coming.
No, well, that's just what Jamie said. So I'm
sure it was just Jamie. What'd you have for winners? What did they get?
So we have 5 categories, Sean. So we have just the most overall appointments booked. We have the most appointments booked for a new agent, and we had a lot of new agents pushed today. So that would be kind of an extra one to add. We have telesales and most dials made
And most appointments set live.
on live dial.
How much they all get?
Either 1,000 in leads or 350 in FFL gear or an Amazon gift card.
Amazon gift card. They can buy anything they wanted with that. I don't like that one.
But that one's only 350 and the leads are 1,000, Sean. So we got to see which one the winners want.
The leads, bro. Here's your $1,000. So you want me to add a 5th or 6th category, I guess. How many new agents? You picked one new. The new agents? How many new agents set more than 10? Let's do. I don't know. How many? Who was the winner of the new agents setting appointments?
We've got 2, one at 18 and one at 17. Elton Yaldo and Andy T. But that's everyone hasn't submitted their numbers yet. They have till midnight. Some of these appointments in Hawaii.
How many people? How many new agents think now? Jamie? How do I know they have appointments? This is the honor system here.
So we did when you submit it, you have to say who can verify this. So who was on live dials with you that saw you book the appointments, or can you take a screenshot of your phone burner? Can you show me?
Jamie and I were on all day, so we'll know if they really did it or not.
Got it. How many new people have above 10 appointments, you believe?
Who actually submitted? Just those 2. We don't know if everyone submitted yet.
All right. So how many have over 7 that submitted? Is that it? Those 2 just killed it. Nobody else has above.
Well, Sean, they have till the end of the night to actually submit. These are just 2 people on the East Coast, so their dial time is over, but West Coast is still going. So if I had to guess, we'll probably have 15 like new agents who will book the most that they've ever booked, and probably 5 or 6 that'll be pretty up there in the 15 to 20 range.
Anybody that does over 10 appointments, if they're new, whatever your definition of new is, I'll give them $1,000 in leads. No Amazon gift card, so none of that bullshit. But I'll give them $1,000 in leads.
Okay, guys.
So if you're on the West Coast, you still have 3 hours to dial. If you're brand new, you can go till 9. I've gone till 9. I'm sure Sean's gone.
On the East Coast, Jamie, it's only 10 after 9. Hell, you can dial till 11 p.m. if you want. You can get on the East Coast and call people on the West Coast.
I love it.
That's true, guys. All right, guys. Sean, thank you so much for getting on with us tonight. Jamie, thank you so much for today, guys. We have a couple more hours left to dial, so let's hit it hard.
See you guys.